Well, this is embarrassing. I did an episode of the Comic Hall about an hour and a half ago, and I accidentally deleted it, so now I have to do another new one. Um, but that's okay. I'll do this one real quick. It's after midnight now, so it's Sunday, the 29th of October. I did on the 28th of October. Today was Halloween Comic Fest, and I wish I would have done this show sooner, but circumstances occurred where I couldn't do it. Later today, this Sunday, around actually probably in about 12 hours, 12 and a half hours from now, I'll be doing another episode of Dylan Knows, my other talk show I do for on YouTube. But this one is something about comics. These are comic books that I bought this week. This week, this is the haul. It's a pretty big one for the last week of the year, or last week of the month. And also this book, I'm not going to show what it is, is one from a couple weeks ago that I finally caught that I need to finish up my collection. Plus, it was Halloween Comic Fest. I will talk a little bit about that. And I got these at Halloween Comic Fest, so we'll talk about those real quick. So without further ado, let's move along a little quickly since I want to try to get this done quicker since I screwed up. First up, we have Batman the Merciless, which is continues the Metal storyline. These are the Metal one-shots. This one's written by Peter Tomasi with art by Francis Manapul. Peter Tomasi can do no wrong. Francis Manapul is a pretty good writer, artist on his own right. But this is basically the dark Wonder Woman Batman. I don't know what the entire story is, but we'll have to read that. I guess maybe in the world, Wonder Woman was maybe his lover, and she died, and the evil Batman took on the creature that killed him, and then he became the Merciless, which is how he became evil Batman. But to honor Wonder Woman, which doesn't make any sense, but you know what? It's Peter Tomasi. Peter Tomasi we trust. So a pretty good book on that, continuing the Metal storyline, which has been kind of weird for me, but still check it out. Speaking of Metal, The Flash number 33, new issue out this week, is a Metal crossover as well. It's a 8th Event Cyber cover, and looks like it's going to be a connected cover because it's the first part of probably a few stories combined. I know Justice League is going to be coming out. The second part of the story is coming out, I guess, next week with Justice League, and there might be a Green Lantern in there. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, so I knew I saw their name in there also. But they've been doing this as well. They do the one-shots. They have the regular series, the one-shots, and now some of the issues are doing like mini story arcs that are, like one starts in one issue, goes to the next one. Like I did one a couple weeks ago with Teen Titans, Green Arrow, and I forget, and Suicide Squad. So they're doing something similar again in this one. So Flash number 33 is a Metal crossover. So if you want to read about Metal and stay in the Metal storyline, keep up with this. Joshua Williamson's writer, Howard Porter artist. This one takes place, I think, right after Metal number 2 or Metal number 3, and then the aftermath of what happens. So we'll get into that as well. So it's not connected to the Flash story that is going on in the Flash comic. It's connected to Metal. So if you are just reading the comic for the Flash, you'll still get your Flash because it is written by Joshua Williamson. But the storyline that you started with the Flash will not continue for another 2 weeks. This is a little mini crossover going on right now. So Flash number 33 is the first part of that one. As I said, next week should be Justice League, I think, is the next one. Batgirl number 16 continues Batgirl and Nightwing's story together. It's always a good time when they're together. It's written by Hope Larson with art by Chris Wildgoose, Jose Marzan, and Andy Owens. It contains flashbacks to when Robin and Batgirl were together, and also storyline current time with Nightwing and Batgirl as she is now. It's always good to see them working together because they work very well together. And a lot of people ship them, and I do too. Next up, we have Teen Titans number 13, the beginning of a new story arc, written by Benjamin Piercy with art by Quo Falm and inks by Trevor Scott. It's the return of Kid Flash. Kid Flash left the Teen Titans to join up with Deathstroke's team, but that ended badly, and so he's coming back. Robin, meanwhile, is going to be recruiting either female Speedy or Arrowhead or whatever the character's name is, but trying to do that as well. And you get a little bit of a onomatopoeia from Kevin Smith's run showing up in here. And Robin's dragon dog thing from his old series. So pretty good. All right, let me shift here so I can get the Halloween stuff in the view still. There we go. Next up, we have Detective Comics number 967. This continues the Lonely Place of Living storyline where Tim Drake is finally coming back to the DC Universe Rebirth proper after being kidnapped. It's written by James Tynion IV, with inks or pencils by Alvaro Martinez and inks by Raul Fernandez and Tommy More. This is, Tim's finally come back to Bruce after his trials and tribulations. Meanwhile, older, futuristic, mean Tim Drake is also in this storyline as well, and is going to be ruining things. In the end, it's got a connection to the big Watchmen storyline overall, because he was held by Mr. Oz, who we discover in Action Comics. This story, the Oz Effect, is actually Jor-El, Superman's father, alive and well, is the mysterious Mr. Oz connected to the Watchmen. This continues the storyline written by Dan Jurgens with art by Viktor Bogdanovich and inks by Bogdanovich, Trevor Scott, and Scott Hanna. I'm not a big fan of the story of Jor-El coming back, but interacting with his grandson and his daughter-in-law from last issue is interesting. So, and the artwork's pretty nice. Next up, we have Wonder Woman Times Past, issue number 33. What's interesting about this one is this issue, written by James Robinson, with art by, where are you? It's like halfway in here. Is it the end? It might be at the end. I hate when I don't know where the credits are. It's the end this time. Emanuela Lupacino and inks by Ray McCarthy. Wonder Woman does not even appear in this issue. It's focused on Darkseid's daughter, Grail, and I guess she's going to be playing a part in the storyline overall. We get her story, Baby Darkseid, which was a story that happened in the Justice League that Jeff Johns wrote, and Baby Darkseid also plays a big role in the Metal storyline. So weird. Next up, we have Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 31. Another Ethan Van Sciver cover. This one, who it is going to be? Yep, is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps issue number 32 will be involved in that crossover with the Flash. So that's right. This issue is written by Robert Venditti with art by Patrick Zurcher. It just focuses on Hal Jordan's team up with Superman that started over in Superman, where Superman was taken over by the Yellow Lantern. And then we get a Star Trek Generations thing where Hal Jordan gets to live out the life that he wants to live, married to Carol Ferris with a family, children, everything like that. And I've always liked the two of them together and hope they'd get back to that. Jeff Johns was aiming at that, but then when Robert Venditti took over, he was like, nah, I don't like them together, and he broke them up. So there's that one. So it looks like the next issue of Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, will be the continuation of the, I guess it makes sense because Justice League will be next week, and then it'll be Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, and maybe there'll be one other story involved with it. Don't know what it is off the top of my head. Justice League of America number 17 finishes up the Atom storyline. And this one is written by Steve Orlando with art by Ivan Reyes with inks by Julio Ferreira and Auclair Albert. So it's good to see Ivan Reyes involved with this. It focuses on the Atom, so we get a good Atom story out of this. Atom's always been kind of interesting character, so it's always good to see Ivan Reyes artwork as well. Next up, that's it for kind of like the Rebirth comics. This one is a mini-series that's kind of a futuristic version of what if Nightwing was a dictator taking over the world, I guess. It's Nightwing, the New Order number 3, written by Kyle Higgins, with art by Trevor McCarthy. And we get a future version of Dick Grayson Robin teaming up with Batwoman. A little bit of a story about what happened and how things changed, and futuristic stuff we're seeing. So it's a mini series. It's Nightwing. I just picked up. It looked good. Commandy Challenge number 10 continues the Commandy Challenge. Let's see if I can get a good view where it's not as shiny. What happens if I turn this light off? No, that doesn't help any. Anyway, there's the cover artwork. I'll try to get it up closer. The Commandy Challenge is a story that's celebrating the Jack Kirby era, where a different creative team takes over every issue. They have to answer the previous issue's cliffhanger, continue with their story, and then create their own cliffhanger. This one has giant sharks with guns. It's written by Greg Pak with art by Shane Davis and inks by Michelle Delecky. So that's this creative team for this one. It's a nice looking book. Get a bear with a Punisher shirt on also. It's a weird futuristic kind of fantasy type of world. It's a very interesting story with different takes on the character. And we get the cliffhanger that Rob Williams and Walter Simonson has to finish up. So that's the creative team in the next issue. Mother Panic number 12 is a great series from Young Animal. It's written by Jody Hauser with art by Sean Crystal. Kind of a bizarre comic, but you know what? That's what Young Animal is. But the character of Mother Panic is fantastic. A great character design, and is, has stories that take place in the DC universe proper, just sort of underneath the skin, so you don't really know what's going on with that. Finally, continuing the DC and Hanna-Barbera crossovers, we have the newest issue of the second group of them. Oh, it is a miniseries. 1 of 6. This is the Rough and Ready show, written by Howard Chaykin, with art by Mac Ray, which is very Kyle Baker-esque. So it's kind of, I've never watched Rough and Ready, so I really don't know much about it, but this comic looks to be sort of a tearing apart of the television industry. Something I guess that Howard Chaykin likes to stir the pot a lot, but then you get the art that looks very Kyle Baker-ish, which is pretty good. And the Hanna-Barbera DC books are always pretty good, so it seems to be set in the same time as Snagglepuss, so that'll be an interesting crossover if they can do it. Paul and Order, stuff like that. So I'll read it, check it out. It's only a mini-series. We'll see what happens. That's it for DC. Marvel. Oh, you know what I forgot to do for my last show is the cover of the week. Let's see. I might make it that one since I'm already on this side. Let me still check and see if there's any other good covers or any that I missed out on, because that was something I wanted to do. Like the covers of the week. Yeah, I think I'll do that one then. Okay. Yep. So to continue that, I didn't do it in my last show. So hey, something new for you guys who are watching the second part here. But this one, first and foremost, is Silver Surfer number 14, which is the last issue of the comic. It's the last issue of the Dan Slott run with Mike Allred, which has been absolutely fantastic. It's spanned 2 series, and this is the final issue of that one. So it spanned about 3 or 4 years, I guess. And the premise behind it is so classic. Dan Slott is a huge Doctor Who fan, and he wanted to do a Doctor Who story, but no one was allowing him to do a Doctor Who story. So what he did was he decided to do a Doctor Who story, but using the Silver Surfer. So he's making the Silver Surfer be the Doctor, and he created a new character named Dawn Greenwood, who became his companion. And during the span of this series, the two of them have fallen in love, and things are coming to a head now. But it is a huge callback to Doctor Who. If you're a Doctor Who fan and you don't catch all the stuff that he does in this comic, you didn't really watch Doctor Who. This is his Doctor Who comic using Silver Surfer, and it's absolutely brilliant. In fact, here's a good one. From the Tennant age, where he left a carbon copy of himself with Rose in a alternate reality. Well, guess what? They're doing that with this too. So, but it's good. It's the final issue. It is a great series. It was, I highly recommend digging up the trades, buying the trades, and reading it. It was fantastic, a great run. And if you're a Doctor Who fan, you should check it out also. But if you're a Silver Surfer fan also, I think you'll like it too, because it's just enough that you get a lot of similarities to Doctor Who, but it's its own. Here's cover of the month, or cover of the week, I should say. Amazing Spider-Man number 790. This is Alex Ross cover. Alex Ross can really do no wrong. This is part of the Marvel Legacy storyline. Issue 789 was the first issue of the Marvel Legacy, and it was a good jumping on point for those who haven't been reading Amazing Spider-Man. As I've said before, Amazing Spider-Man is the first comic I ever got, and always have a soft spot for him. And so I started reading again, so I'm getting caught up again. Speaking of Dan Slott, he and Christos Gage wrote this story with art by the wonderful Stuart Immonen and Wade von Grawbagger. It is fantastic artwork. Just amazing, and storyline's okay, but it's Spider-Man, and can't go any wrong with Spider-Man. And you can get appearances of the Human Torch and other stuff as well. So this is definitely a pretty good series, and looking forward to see what they're doing. And this is the cover of the week. So there we go. Got to remember to do that next time. Continuing the Marvel Legacy story, this is the first of the Captain Marvel Legacy. This is issue number 125 of Captain Marvel. Again, that includes all of the previous Captain Marvel series, including the Kelly Sue DeConnick stories. This is issue 125. I bought this mainly for my wife because she's been following pretty much all 125 issues probably. Written by Margaret Stoll with art by Michelle Bandini. I guess it's a good jumping on point. Maybe I'll jump on it to read it because we got to get ready. We got to get pumped. Because Captain Marvel, the movie, is going to come out in 2019. She is already going to appear in Avengers 4, not 3, which comes out next year, 4, which comes out in another year after that. So we're going to get some Captain Marvel, and then we're going to get 2 doses of Captain Marvel in 2019. So definitely check out. So if you want to catch up with what's going on with Captain Marvel, this is probably a good jumping on point. Captain Marvel number 125 is the beginning of the Marvel Legacy story with that. I've talked about this. I beat this drum, but I'm going to beat it again. Scarlet Spider number 9, written by Peter David with art by Will Sliney. Nothing against Will Sliney. He draws his women very sexy, and his artwork is fairly clean, and I have no problems with it. When this was announced, Mark Bagley was the artist, and I really, really like Mark Bagley, and having him team up with Peter David was like a dream come true. But Mark Bagley only appeared in like 4 issues, and then Will Sliney took over, and he has been drawing it ever since. Again, nothing wrong with that, and I'll still collect it because the artwork it's good, it's nice, but I kind of wanted Mark Bagley because we still get him in his covers. So. Finally, we have from the Star Wars Wing of Marvel, we've got Mace Windu number 3, written by Matt Owens with art by Denny Cohen and inks by Robert Pogge, which is really good because Denny Cohen hasn't done a lot of comics recently. He was big in the 80s and 90s, and then he sort of kind of disappeared or was doing books that I didn't follow. But he's back and he's doing the Badass Jedi Mace Windu. So. Newest issue that came out. That's it for Marvel. For the independents, we start off with 3 straight horror books. The first is from Archie's horror line, Archie's Madhouse. We have Jughead the Hunger number 1. There was a one-shot not too long ago, and now they're doing a regular series where what if Jughead Jones is a werewolf? And so we're following that story up. It's written by Frank Thierry with art by Pat and Tim Kennedy. And so it's Archie, but it's Archie like you've never seen before. Again, much like Afterlife with Archie and Sabrina, which are 2 of the other Archie's Madhouse books, which is horror versions of Archie stories. So, but you get yourself a nice storyline about Jughead being a werewolf, and you still get visits from all the characters. Like here's Archie and Betty and Veronica and stuff like that are all in it as well. So definitely want to check it out. especially around the holidays. Halloween is on Tuesday, and yes, I know I'm getting it late, but you can go to the comic book store on Sunday, you can comic book store on Monday, or you can go on Halloween if you want to, so pick it up, and then there'll be more issues afterwards, but if you want something scary, that might be something good to pick up. I went on a long spiel about this. I'm going to do it again. I haven't read this book in a while. They do a book similar to Hellboy where they do a bunch of mini-series, and I sort of lost track of them. I first got involved in this comic when it first came out all the way back at the turn of the century when I still worked at Diamond. This is the newest hack slash limited series, Resurrection. I love hack slash, and I don't know why. I guess it just went away. There were times where I wasn't buying comics after I didn't get them for free. I had to start buying them. I had to make some cuts, and for whatever reason, I cut this. But it's a great series, and I'll even read you the premise of it. Cassie Hack is the lone survivor of an attack by a slasher called the Lunch Lady, a slasher that happened to be her mother. She traveled the world with her monstrous partner and friend Vlad, hunting down and destroying slashers wherever they found them. But then Vlad died, and Cassie disappeared. So this is created by the creative team that created Hack and Slash originally was Tim Seeley and Stefano Caselli. They are not involved in this. The team is Teenie Howard, written by Teenie Howard, art by Seelor. But it's a great series, and I need to find some of these omnibuses and compendiums. I get caught up on Hack Slash because it is a fun series. It's a really good horror series, very interesting. And this is Vlad, for those who don't know. He reappears in a dream sequence. Always interesting to keep an eye out for. And it's kind of good girl artwork also. You get a little bit of revealing clothing and stuff like that. But yeah, you got that. And then there's a bunch of compendiums that I should probably get caught up on. So in 5 compendiums. So there was 5 omnibuses. So there was a lot of stories. But I kind of remember the old days. And so I'll probably keep going with this. But Hack Slash Resurrection, again, perfect for Halloween, and just a good series in general whatsoever for that. Check that out. And the final horror one from Independence is Aftershocks doing a fantastic job with their comics. This is Dark Ark #2, written by Cullen Bunn with art by Juan Doe. The great premise behind this is we all know the story about Noah's Ark. God told Noah to build an ark and to get 2 of every animal on the ark, and they will survive after the earth is flooded. Well, the devil also contacted the evil man and said, you need to build your own ark because I heard that God's going to do this, and you need to put the monstrous beasts like unicorns and serpent creatures and lion creatures and all kinds of horror type of creatures on the ark so they would survive also. And vampires are in there as well. So I read the first issue. It's really good, and I can't wait to sink my teeth into the second issue. So that's it for some of the horror ones that came out this week. There's probably a ton of other horror books out there that you could find if you were into that stuff for the next few days, since Halloween is on Tuesday. But those are the ones that are new now. You can go check it out at your comic book store on Sunday. Check it out. Also from Aftershock, we have Fujitsu #2, written by Jai Nitz with art by Wesley St. Clair. Kind of a manga-esque type of kung fu futuristic book. The artwork is interesting, and I'm betting the story is going to be really interesting too, because Aftershock has been doing a really, really good job with their comics. So it's issue 2, so you'll probably still be able to find issue 1 somewhere. Same with Dark Ark. Back to the Future #24 is out this week. I know #23 came out last week, but they're trying to get caught up as well. This continues the further adventures of Marty McFly and Doc Brown. This one's written by John Barber and the creator of Back to the Future, Bob Gale. Script by John Barber with art by Marcella Ferreira and Athila Fabio, inks by Maria Kane. In this storyline, Marty goes back in time to find out what happened to his Uncle Joey and how he got arrested. If you like Back to the Future, you like to continue reading stories about your favorite characters, it's the Comic For You Plus. It's written by Bob Gale, the guy who created the Back to the Future storyline. Final new book of the week was Power of the Dark Crystal #8. This is again for my wife. She loves the Dark Crystal movie and is also waiting with holding her breath for the Dark Crystal Netflix series coming out next year. This is written by Simon Spurrier with art by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I'm sorry, is written by Simon Spurrier and Philip Kennedy Johnson and illustrated by Kelly and Nicole Matthews. Sorry about that. But if you are a fan of Dark Crystal, this is kind of a sequel to Dark Crystal. Maybe not necessarily done in puppet format, obviously, but it's got the same characters, the same feel to it. And my wife has been reading, and she hasn't complained. So this is the newest issue of Dark Crystal. Power of Dark Crystal is out this week as well. And finally, this book came out a few weeks ago. I've been looking for it. I'm a Doctor Who fan, and there was a recent comic. There's a comic still going on, actually, comic book story featuring all the Doctor Who's, basically. It's an 8-part series. I started collecting all of them, and then somewhere along the line, I forgot to get the 4th part of it, and then I got 5 and 6. So I've been looking for issue 4. I found it the other day, so I have my Doctor Who, The Lost Dimension #4, which focuses on Matt Smith's Doctor, as well as some of the other Doctors as well. It's written by Nick Abadzis with art by Leandro Casco and J.B. Bastos. So it's Doctor Who. This is Doctor Who proper. It's produced by Titan Comics, which is set in England. The Titan Comics is a production company in England, and this just is the Doctor Who. I mean, all the doctors working together to solve a problem. That is it for the comics that came out this week. As I mentioned earlier, Saturday, the 28th, was Halloween Comic Fest, where basically it's called Free Comic Book Day of the Fall. It's not as big a deal as Free Comic Book Day, but they do give away free comics around Halloween. I talked about it in depth last week, and I'm not going to talk about it now, but I'll show you what I got this week. I got some stuff. My wife got some stuff. My son got some stuff. My daughter got some stuff. First up, we have Boom's Box of Some and Haunted Evening 2017. It's a little, it's sponsored by Netflix and Stranger Things too. These little comic pieces, this one was written by Liz Prince with art by Kat Leah. Basically, this has all of their big comic, a bunch of Boom's big comics, Misfit Cities, Giant Days, Goldie Vance, Hi-Fi Fight Club, Cody and the Creepy, Slam, and Lumberjanes all working together. So it's a way of, it's a Halloween-based story, and it's a way of introducing these characters. So if you like these characters, you can go find them in their regular books and see what's going on. So there's that. Next up, we also have from, what is it? Oh, Paper Cuts. It's Stitched by Mariah McCourt and Aaron Alexovich. Another kind of horror-esque book that is, out through Paper Cuts. This is just a little taste of what's to come, a new story, and it's perfect for Halloween as well. So ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. So pretty good. Next up, we have The Witch Boy from Scholastic by Molly Knox and Sturtag. It's a boy who knows how to do magic, and has a lot of animals. So again, a pretty way to just get introduced to these characters. If you like what you see, you can go get the regular books and series when they come out, and it's just it's perfect for Halloween. Moonlighters from Space Goat Publishing, written by Katie Schenkel with art by Kyle Moray, is about a veterinarian who discovers a group of people, teenagers, who can turn into dog wolf things, and it's her job to take care of them. And it sounds like it looks like a cute little all ages story, and this just introduces them, and then you will get their comics in 2018. So if you like what you see here, when their books come out in 2018, you go buy it and enjoy it. We also have from Paper Cuts Hotel Transylvania, Cakey Land Catastrophe. It's written by Stefan Petruccia with art by Alan Gladfelter. And that's, if you're a fan of the Halloween Transylvania series, which are the Hotel Transylvania series, which I thought the 3rd one was supposed to be out this month. I don't remember seeing or hearing about it. Now would be the perfect time to it. I mean, it's past now because it's Halloween weekend. I mean, next weekend, Halloween's done. So I don't know. But, the comic is still there, so go ahead and you pick up the comic as well. So we have these types of comics, and we also have regular comics. IDW, Ghostbusters. IDW has the Ghostbusters license. This one is a full-fledged comic about a Halloween story written by Eric Burnham with art by Dan Schroning. And it features the characters of the Ghostbusters comic, which is the main Ghostbusters, but some new characters that they introduced during that, doing a Dia de los Muertos storyline, which seems to be a big thing recently. I'll be talking about that more on my Dylan Knows show on Sunday. About the Dia de los Muertos has been getting more of a appearance lately. But what's great about this is IDW has a huge Ghostbusters universe and huge story. These are all Ghostbuster story trade paperbacks, and they're also going to be releasing a new one with the female Ghostbusters. So all kinds of interesting things coming up with that, and so definitely pick up. It's a full one shot. So if you like Ghostbusters, the movie, and you like the comic, you can get the comic. Also from Dark Horse, they do this every Halloween Comicfest. They release a new Hellboy story. This is also a full-length story. It's actually 2 stories written by Mike Mignola. It's The Witch Tree and Rawhead and Bloody Bones, and it's Hellboy and the BPRD 1953. Art by Ben Stenbeck, which is very Mignola-esque, though it's not Mignola. You can tell there's major differences between it, but it's got some similar qualities to it. But it's Hellboy, and his regular series is going on hiatus, or has been on hiatus for a while, so now you get to see him working with the BPRD. And as I said, there's 2 stories, and all in this one issue. And most of these will get reprinted in a trade paperback, so even if you don't get it now for free, you'll be able to read it later on when you get the trade. Again, Aftershock, I don't remember them doing a free comic book day book, but they might have. But this one is perfect for Halloween Comicfest. This is for grown-ups. It's called Baby Teeth #1. I think it's a reprint of the first issue of Baby Teeth, but without color. It's written by Donnie Cates with art by Gary Brown, and it's basically their version of like Damien, the son of the devil, child of the devil. So this is their comic book version of it. So you can get the first issue. I think there's issue 2 or 3 right now. So if you like this issue, you get it for free. You can pick up the other issues and get caught up on it. The Tick, due to his Netflix series, is getting some new life. They have a new series, a new story written by Ben Edlund. If you like The Tick, if you like the Netflix series, pick up the comic where it all started. And it's another full comic story about the Tick. This is the first reprint. Marvel and DC tend to do reprints around the Halloween Comic Fest, but then do original books for the Free Comic Book Day. But this is a appropriate reprint of an issue of Thor, which has Hela in it. They're looking for Odin. It's Thor and Loki. So you got all that stuff together. Frost Giants, and it's written and drawn by Walt Simonson, who did one of the greatest runs of all time of Thor, and this is one issue of it. I actually have this original issue in one of my myriad of boxes. But this is for fans of the upcoming Thor Ragnarok movie, which comes out next weekend. This gets you a chance to get excited for that. Also, coming from Hulu, they have a TV series based on The Runaways. Here is a reprint of the very first issue ever of The Runaways. This is the original series written by Brian K. Vaughan, who created The Runaways, with art by Adriana Alfona and inks by David Newbold. But this is the actual first ever issue of The Runaways. So if you're interested in The Runaways TV series on Hulu, you might want to check this out. This is where it all began. You know, they did a run on this. Brian Vaughan, who created the show, created the characters, did a run on it for a while. Then Joss Whedon came on and did a run on it. Then they canceled the book, and then they brought it back. They canceled again. Now they brought it back again. And there's Rainbow Rowell and Chris Anka are doing the stories for that. Keeping with the Dia de los Muertos stories, this is Lady Mechanica from Joe Benitez Productions. He always does a Free Comic Book Day and a Halloween thing. This one, as I said, is a Dia de los Muertos thing. And Joe Benitez has great artwork, and so he does his own stuff, and this is his own creation that he's been doing forever. And so this is, again, a full-length comic which appears, for free. You get for free. It tells a story, and if you like the character, you can pick up the trades and other comics like that. Those are the ones I got. These are the ones I got from my daughter. My daughter got for herself. This is the DC Superhero Girls. This is a reprint of the first couple chapters of the trade paperback, based on the DC Superheroes Girls series, which is a really cool series for girls and for everybody, to be honest. My son watched it with her, but it's mostly focused towards girls. And my daughter's favorite character is Katana, who is right there and right there. So Katana has a big appearance in that as well. So my daughter's excited about that. And then I got this for, I don't know if she's going to like it, but this is from Yun 3K Studios. It's Malika Dragon Trial. So it's kind of like a female warrior queen taking on a dragon. I figured my daughter would like that. It's written and art by Roye Okupe. Creative director Sunkanmi Akinboe. Pencils and inks by Chima Kalu. So it's kind of a different take on things, and hopefully she'll read it, and maybe she'll like it, or maybe she won't. I don't know, but she might be entertained by it. So check that out. All right, that's it for take 2 of the comic haul. Hopefully this one I won't delete, because I'm not going to do it again. Thank you for watching again. If you watched the first one, come watch this one again. This is brand new. Well, not brand new stuff. You already saw what happened, but I made some new comments. Tomorrow, or I should say today, is Sunday, October 29th, around 12:30, I'll be doing a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. Actually, 12 hours from now, I'll be on the air doing a new episode of Dylan Knows. So see you in 12 hours, and have a safe and happy Halloween. It's on Tuesday. November's coming.